Alrighty guys, so this is the plumbing video, and as you notice we've got our back covering here done, and you'll also notice down below we have our sump in place ready to go. So when you go to plumb any fish tank, whether it's freshwater or saltwater, you've got a couple different options as far as plumbing goes. You've got your soft plumbing, which can be tubing like this, or something a little more sturdier like this. This is just braided tubing, and then this is soft tubing off of BRS. You can get both at BRS, or if you are near a Lowe's or Home Depot, they carry this braided piping. For our purposes, we're going to use both of these in combination with PVC piping. I just like the clean look of PVC, so a good portion of this build will actually be PVC. And I'm going to go over basically what I'm going to do. We'll do the time lapse, so you don't have to sit through this 30-minute process with me, but we will start with the drains here. So these are both 1-inch drains that I drilled. So basically how it's gonna go is I will have a small piece, it doesn't have to be very big, of 1-inch PVC that's gonna come out of the bulkhead. So I'll go ahead and screw this in here. And it's going to be the same for both of these, so I'm not going to, I'll do the speed up of hooking up the other one. Grab my wrench, tighten all these bulkheads up. So it'll come down, you have a small piece of PVC, and then we're going to pre-fit everything, make sure it fits before we actually glue it, because once it's glued then you've got to cut it and it becomes a whole drawn out process. So we'll have the 1-inch, it'll come out, you know, probably about 1.5 to 2 inches, and then we'll go ahead and cut it. We'll elbow down with just an elbow, nothing special. So elbow will come down. Then at that point, we're trying to aim both of these directly into our 7-inch filter sock. They're about 2 inches wide, so there should be about 1.5 to 2 inches per side of each pipe that should be able to fit. So anyways, so it'll elbow out, come down, and then you've got 2 things you need to add. Got your PVC union, and then your ball valve. So I'm going to briefly go over the function of each of these. So the union is if you ever move. This is not my permanent home. I'm hoping to move into a larger home for my family's needs in the next 5-10 years. It just depends on a lot of different things, but we'll get there. And then basically the purpose of the union is that actually you just loosen here and you'll be able to pop it off, so you won't have to cut your PVC pipe every time you move. That's the advantage. You can add a couple more. I'm only going to have one, but if you wanted to have one in between, like your ball valve, for whatever reason, just depends how much you want to take apart when you go to move. Or if there's something wrong with the pipe or there's a clog, you have more areas that you can take off to clean or blow out or whatever. The second part is just a ball valve. So this serves a couple different purposes. It, if you, for whatever reason, don't want any water to flow out of the drain, say you want to just fill this up, maybe you're trying to keep temperatures up or there's emergency, it just gives you more ability to dial things in. The other thing that ball valves can be used for is you can kind of taper off your drain a little bit to quiet down the noise. So if this is in a bedroom or a living room where you're watching a movie, you want it to be a little more quiet, you'll be able to kind of dial this sound in with the ball valve. So, other than that, the only other material we have besides the PVC pipe, the soft plumbing and the braided pipe, and the different fittings. Like I said, I'm only using ball valves, elbows, and unions. We can use just the standard PVC pipe glue. We'll have some hosed barb fittings further down. So I'll go ahead and finish the drain portion. So it's going to go elbow down into a little bit more pipe, which will go into the union first. The union. And then from there, another piece of pipe going into the ball valve. I'll probably try to have it about here, so still plenty enough space if I need to reach around the tank to shut off. Or the other option too is as it's coming down, I could have it a little bit closer to the actual drain and turn off there. So if I wanted to reach from underneath there, it's just how your area is set up. From that point, come down, and at some point, obviously this isn't going straight into the tank. We'll have to elbow off again. So elbow, and then from here, it would be straight pipe, elbow down, and then on the end of the pipe at that point, we will have a barbed fitting for our 1-inch flex pipe. The idea behind using this instead of ending with just this pipe is when we go to change the filter sock, this comes out, up and out, and it'll be a lot easier if I need to just turn this a little bit, right? Versus the rigid, this doesn't bend too well. Okay? After that, the water comes down. We have our skimmer fit here. Refugium will set up later. For now, it'll just be open. And we've got our pump there, which is where this next hole comes in. So water will pump up, and that's where our braided starts. I wanted something a little more rigid because I'm going to go the braided wire, braided pipe will come up, and then it'll go into a barbed fitting, and then from there it'll be hard plumbed into PVC, elbow, straight pipe, elbow up, and then it'll elbow back in, and then at that point you've got a couple options. You can just end it with one of these, just PVC pipe. There should be enough flow coming out of it that you don't need to worry about fish swimming down it or whatever, depending on the size of your fish. It won't matter anyways. Or if you're doing like a show tank, we've got these here. So these are lock line. They're kind of difficult to get on there, but basically I kind of pieced it all together already. But you've got your bulkhead comes out, and then there's an adapter that they sell that just screws your nail piece in. I'm probably going to take some of these rings because I don't need it to be that long. I'm playing with the idea of teeing it off to have two, but we'll see how she comes out from there. So all of this I got between Home Depot and a couple pieces they didn't sell. I had to get from Lowe's some of the barb fittings. I had a hard time getting a hold of. You've got to make sure that they are PVC or hard plastic, and then just research to make sure that will actually work for you. So I'm gonna go to the time lapse here, and at the end of the video I will kind of review how it all went through, if there was any changes that needed to be made, and I'll let you know. Done. Everything is glued except I forgot I need to go back and glue here and here. On this one, the reason I didn't do it the same day as everything else was I was trying to decide if I was happy with having this in the filter sock area, but I think I want to raise it up a little bit like this one. Probably zip tie them together, something for a little extra support, but this is pretty stout. I'm not too worried about that. Plus, if you're worried about splashing, that's what this here's for, is the flex tubing. And the idea behind this is we add this to the end of the barb fittings like planned to actually reduce the noise and make it easier to change out filter socks. On my 150 behind me here, I used to run filter socks before I got the roller. Doing that, I had to turn off the pumps, take off basically anything below the elbow to pull out the filter socks, and that's just kind of a pain, and then over time it gets built up with salt, and it's just not very user friendly. But I think I'm going to try this new setup that has pretty good reviews online, something I have been debating this whole process, so I'm thinking probably no more than about 5 inches on each drain here. But to do so, I'm going to have to raise this right one up, so I'll probably go ahead and cut it about here, make sure there's enough space for the coupling, go ahead and dry fit that, and see if there's enough. I want it to basically be about the same height as this one here. Alrighty guys, so time lapse is finished. We added the coupling, cut off a pretty good amount of pipe, but shouldn't be any issue. Worst case scenario, this obviously when we go to move just unbuckles. This whole thing will be a unit. You also will notice I glued up until the elbow on both of these. Still playing with the idea of leaving these open. I can go back and glue this at any point. The kind of rule of thumb with gluing in an aquarium, especially with something that's going to have sensitive fish or sensitive coral, is you just want to limit the amount of glue. Even super glue is not great, obviously, to have in the water column. You can run some carbon afterwards if you are really concerned, but if you're doing, at this point it'd be one more glue, maybe 2, if I want to glue the pipe in between these 2 fittings. And then the glue barbed fittings are screwed on anyway, so there is no gluing them. So they should stay on there pretty firm. The soft tubing went on fantastic, so if I was to go ahead and rate this project, I would say behind the scenes, the plumbing, as long as it works, you're good. So I think as I continue to do this, I'll have better pipe management skills. And then you've got union. These are all pretty level. These are pretty close. I just misgauged the amount of pipe initially there, but I would say it went really well. Going forward, I didn't know if you guys could tell on the camera, my glue probably is on its way out as far as consistency goes. It's kind of gross, but we'll water test everything before we completely fill it up, make sure the drains and stuff are good. That's another reason I have these ball valves is if we have a leak somewhere here, you can just shut it off, cut it, whatever you need to do, and then turn around and do it again. Or it's very easy that if we needed to emergency, there was a leak, anything above this, you could just cut and then run your buckets behind here until the water gets stable, repipe it. So there's a lot of different safety measures. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok. I have a Facebook page as well. I'm open to DMs. Please tell me, what do you want my next video to be? I'm going to do the interior plumbing just on sped up. All I'm going to be doing is adding the adapter, which just screws into the bulkhead, and then I'm either going to tee it off or just have it as one. Probably going to take some of these off because that's kind of long, but this concludes the end of the plumbing video for the 40-gallon Frag tank. Thank you for watching.